AG Collects back again at day one of Otakon. Like I always say, you never know who's going to pop up on the podcast. And today I got something for all my Dragon Ball fans. I got one of the biggest Dragon Ball creators out there and fans. I'm with.
Black Boma. Hey, everybody.
Hey, how's it going this weekend?
Good, good. I am excited to be around a really great nerdy environment and just experience, the nerdism of, being a nerd.
Yeah, when it comes to nerdism, you're one of the biggest. When did your love for Dragon Ball start?
I grew up watching Dragon Ball on Toonami pretty much week to week. I hate to kind of always tell people because it kind of ages me a little bit, but I was there watching when Goku first went Super Saiyan, so you know what I mean. But it started when I was a kid, and just kind of like growing up and watching it, and just being a little girl and looking forward to something like that. So yeah, it started like very, very young. Like my brother put me on to it. I would sit actually with I have a twin brother, and I remember sitting there with him and him going Super Saiyan, and we experienced Goku going Super Saiyan for the first time. And it's such like an iconic like moment in my childhood because not a lot of people got to experience that. Like a lot of people stream it and already know about it. But I feel like my love for it came from number one, how much that transformation changed anime, period. And just like being young and seeing something so powerful happen that we've never seen before. The second time I fell in love with it is when COVID happened. Because I'm not gonna lie, I kind of fell off watching anime. But then I came back and I watched Dragon Ball Super. And just watching Goku and Frieza fight each other and just that moment and the Goku lag art just made me kind of immerse myself back into the series and read the manga and things like that.
And that's crazy that you said like during COVID you fell off of it because I fell off of it too because it was me being an OG fan. It was so like kind of Disney like childish, and I remember Dragon Ball being more gritty, and the tournament of power for me saved it. What has been your favorite arc in Dragon Ball?
My favorite arc in Dragon Ball will 100% always be the Cell Saga. It's one of those sagas where, number one, it's the first time we see Goku kind of actually show up with the Z Fighters instead of showing up after the Z Fighters. Unfortunately, he did get a heart virus, but it is the first time that we kind of see him outside of OG Dragon Ball show up with the Z Fighters with him. So I thought that was really cool. But just that build up for Cell, like you didn't know that Dr. Gero was going to be able to get through to make his plan go through and reawake his androids, and we didn't even know anything about Cell. So that build up and watching the mistakes and watching him fix the mistakes, honestly, is my favorite arc. And just overall, Cell's design just really kind of it does it for me. I can talk an hour about how much I love Cell, but Toriyama Cook, when he designed him, his aura, his presence, his just who he is as a person, I feel like that's just one of the best parts of Dragon Ball Z.
And that's one of the few arcs where a lot of people randomly got their moment. I was so happy with Tien at that moment. It gets Cell, and then Vegeta pissed me off to no end because I blame him fully. Him and Krillin are the two of the most blamed for perfect Cell.
Yeah.
And when you first started being a Dragon Ball content creator, how was that for you? Because being on Limit talking about DBC, did you face any criticism and pushback?
When I first started talking about Dragon Ball, it actually started on Facebook, honestly. I was just kind of giving my hot takes as I watched Dragon Ball Super for the first time. So I wasn't really worried about like the backlash. I did have a lot of hot takes that I feel like kind of took me off a little bit as a content creator. And I won't lie, being a woman that talks about Dragon Ball, I do get like the casual gatekeeping, oh, you're just watching it for views and clout. But I feel like I've proven myself plenty of times that I'm a Dragon Ball fan through and through. So I do get gatekeeping. I do get people assuming that, I'm not like the true Dragon Ball fan in which they think that I'm supposed to be. But I feel like I can't let somebody define who I am as a fan of Akira Toriyama's work based on how I'm supposed to look or act or be as a person. So I don't like really bringing gender up into it. I think people do that more to me than I do for them. So. But other than that, my experience of being a Dragon Ball content creator, it's had its terrible moments sometimes, but I feel like the good definitely outweighs the bad with so many people that support me and love Dragon Ball like I do.
Yeah, I said you love Dragon Ball through and through, and that was well said in everything that you stated in there. The people do kind of take the fandoms too far in certain aspects, like you're supposed to look a certain way, talk a certain way. I'm just a fan of the show. At the end of the day, I've seen everything from the movies, from the live actions, even the live action that y'all don't even probably know about, the original one, Mystic Course. You seen that? You're a real Dragon Ball fan because by God, when it comes to the movies, what's been your favorite DVZ movie so far?
So I gotta tell you what my favorite transformation is before I tell you what so my favorite transformation specifically is Goku going Super Saiyan 3. I love just how like kind of more serious Goku is because Goku's such a lighthearted like character, but when he turns Super Saiyan 3, it's the first time you see his tone shift and just the long hair and the no eyebrows, which are controversial whether people like it or not. But Super Saiyan 3 is my favorite. So to tie that into my favorite DBZ movie, I love Fusion Reborn because number one, it gives Goku his own spotlight and moment to be able to not only fight that first form of Janemba, but also fight the final form of Janemba. And he just looks so amazing. He does like this like fire ass kick with the graphics are so beautiful. I feel like people sleep on Fusion Reborn so bad. And just that and just even seeing Gogeta, you know what I mean? Like I love that version of Gogeta. I think he's a really I feel like there are two different types of Gogeta. It's the one you'll see in Super and the one in DBZ, and it's so quick with the Fusion Reborn one. But other than that, it has to be Fusion Reborn, honestly.
I was not expecting that. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say Fusion Reborn was one of their favorite movies. For me, my favorite movie was Tree of Might because that's who one of the OG movies, if you haven't seen. If you actually see the Earth Fighters have their shine, and then, Goku comes up, saves the day. Then you see the other Saiyans in that movie. And then I love Cooler's movies too, because Cooler, he's better than Frieza in my opinion.
I agree. I love Cooler so well. I'm glad you said it because Cooler is amazing.
Cooler is underrated as a villain. He needed his own canon arc. And when you was talking about the transformations, I agree with the Super Saiyan 3, how it was, how well developed was. But then in Super, it was, I got a tingle in my back and I'm a Super Saiyan. That kind of like lost me at that. How did you feel about that?
So the thing about that is that the downplaying of the original Super Saiyan transformation didn't really start with Super. It kind of started with Goten and Trunks. But it made sense because they're half Saiyans. So it's like it's easier for them to go into that state of being a Super Saiyan. Like with Trunks randomly being able to do it, Vegeta calling for the Super Saiyan bargain sale, and Goten turning into it against his mother. It's such a downplaying of it since the way we got introduced to it was, Goku seeing his best friend, die, and then Vegeta obviously going off planet and training and things like that. So it did get downgraded in Dragon Ball Z, but it made sense. I do agree that in Super with what they did with the Super Saiyan transformation, giving it to Universe 6, definitely downplayed it with the tangling of the back. It makes sense. I feel like they were trying to rush those Saiyans to be ready for the Tournament of Power. I feel like that's the reason why they kind of did something like that. But other than that, it really is not like a hype moment, like seeing someone like, get exploded by Frieza or something like that.
Yeah, and with it being watered down, now you have the newer anime fans who try to judge Dragon Ball in a different light.
I know.
How do you feel about these newer fans coming in, trying to discredit Dragon Ball, not putting it as one of the tops? They criticize the writing even though it's been out since the 90s.
Honestly, I feel like as newer anime fans, even if you don't like Super, you don't start the series with Super. You know what I mean? There's so much more lore to the series before you even get introduced to whatever issues you have with Super. And I always encourage people to start with OG Dragon Ball because I have such a hard time convincing people that is a mandatory start to the series because they like to hop into DBZ, see the Super Saiyan transformations and things like that. And I'm like, don't rush it. It's a great and amazing build up to the story before you get to the Ultra Instincts and the Jirens and stuff like that. So I mean, for the newer fans, you find your love in starting with the original series where you see the core of these characters. And then you can gradually understand and appreciate how much these characters grew in Dragon Ball Super. Is Super perfect? Absolutely not. I have my own issues with it. But I promise you, I'll even encourage reading the manga, honestly. But either way, I feel like Dragon Ball itself should always be, no matter if you hate Super or not, Dragon Ball is a series that everyone around the world loves. And I don't know why the younger generation would not acknowledge that.
I know it's crazy. They just don't want to get an OG's respect. Yes, Dragon Ball, the original, is definitely a great one, especially if you like martial arts. It's more them fighting before you get into all the explosions and everything. And then you also get to see y'all to Tien. Tien, who I feel like should have been the next Master Roshi if you really look at everything, how he was getting to and everything. And Krillin was way better in the original Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Z, he was cool up until, I'll say, the Cell Saga. That's when he kind of like tapered off a little bit.
Yeah.
And the community has just been uplifting you, which I love to see. And when it comes to just other Dragon Ball content creators and just things Dragon Ball, what would you like to see different in the community?
I would like to see people actually watch the show that they love so much. There's so many flaws in the Dragon Ball community where people think Dragon Ball is all about Goku be just getting stronger. Dragon Ball has no plot, or it's so saddening to hear that. When I've actually put people onto the series, and I've gone through their journey with them, and they absolutely love it. They love the series, they love the story. It's still something you can enjoy today. And it's like, I feel like in a community, we need to encourage people to actually enjoy the story of Dragon Ball and stop surrounding it around Goku solo in this verse, or power scaling, or just kind of thinking that Dragon Ball is like a thoughtless plot where it's just fighting and boom, pow, flash. This is actually a beautiful story if you actually enjoy it, because Akira Toriyama, you could tell he put his all into it. You know what I mean? So I feel like one thing I would change is that I wish people would appreciate Dragon Ball for in its totality, instead of just thinking about the recent stuff with who's stronger than who and who can beat Goku. I feel like that's such a minor way to think about the series when it has so much vast of plot that you can enjoy.
Yes, because you see one of the best character arcs with Vegeta turn out being a savage to a family man. You watch Goku even grow. You watch Gohan become what looks like to be the next of character Goku, but he ends up becoming a better family man. You watch Majin Buu develop. Just so many characters that get flushed out, but everybody just looks at it like, oh, who can be Goku? I am so tired of that conversation and argument between that and then can Goku be Sailor Moon? Those are just never-ending conversations. And another spark that we didn't touch on, and this is a controversial series of Dragon Ball GT. That has everybody split in the middle. Either you love it or hate it. How do you feel about GT?
All right. So GT is okay. Okay, I'm not a big fan of it. I feel like it starts off massively slow. Like, I feel like the only thing to me that really makes people enjoy Dragon Ball GT is the introduction to Super Saiyan 4. Because growing up watching Dragon Ball Z, no matter whatever transformation we saw, we always wanted to know, is there another one? That's why you get that like cliche trope of like anime fans boo with Super Saiyan 5 or Super Saiyan 100, because we wanted to see what was beyond the transformation that we saw last. So I feel like Dragon Ball GT did a great job of introducing a new transformation that could carry the series. But the problem is, I feel like it was like massively spanned. But even though you watch Dragon Ball Z, Super Saiyan 4 isn't, original Super Saiyan isn't the only thing that you see. There's more transformations. So I feel like Super Saiyan 4 kind of carried it a little bit. Plus, some of the arcs weren't my favorite. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like the only relevant arc in there was maybe the Baby Saga, because that was more of a revenge arc, and maybe the Omega Shenron arc, because that was just a consequence of using, overusing the Dragon Ball. So with GT, it's like a love-hate type of relationship, but it's a part of the series, so I love it either way.
See, like, when it comes to that, with the Mega Shenron arc, I thought they were on to something, seeing the Dragon Balls come to life. And then I did like when the android came back, and then the one thing I was disappointed, I really wish Vegeta and Nappa really would have had more of an interaction.
I know,
Just what
so
it was.
short. It was so short.
I was just like, that's all we get. But they were definitely on to something. It just wasn't executed in the right manner. Omega Shenron was dope, then the fusion was dope. But GT has just been, it's been kind of a stain on Dragon Ball, and then Super kind of like added on to that. What's one thing, if you had a personal choice that you wish Dragon Ball would have done?
Like to kind of change it? Honestly, to be honest, I would say I wish that what we saw in the manga was the anime version. That's why I'm glad about the remaster coming out. Because once you watch Dragon Ball Super, or specifically Dragon Ball Super, I feel like a lot of people appreciate it more if you actually got Akira Toriyama's version of Dragon Ball Super, which will be the Dragon Ball manga. That's why, like I said, I'm excited about the remaster, because you get to actually see things that people watch it and it don't make sense, but a lot of that was answered in a manga. So I would probably mainly say that I wish Dragon Ball Super, which is already happening basically, that it would be more manga accurate than what we kind of saw, you know?
And I want to ask you, because you're very knowledgeable, you're very in depth. What side character or movie character, I already said Cooler deserved his own arc, but I want to hear your opinion. Which one do you think deserved their own arc?
Absolutely 100% Janemba. Janemba is too cool of a character with that matter manipulation, that sword. He was OP. He went up against a fusion. You know what I mean? The only people that we caught in the canon seen going up against fusions was Boo and Broly, and Zamasu. So I feel like if we can give Cooler 100 movies, if we can have Cell Mats Cell be remade into Cell Mats, I don't see why Janemba shouldn't be able to come back, since he was a really strong character. He went up against a fusion of Goku and Vegeta, and he looks pretty cool. He reminds me of like the older brother of Kid Buu or something like that. But he's pretty cool. I think Janemba should definitely have like at least a return or something like that.
Yeah, he never got no mention of patern or nothing. And then side note, I know this might be a hot take or controversial, but Garlic Jr. deserves an arc too, because he was an interesting character too. I definitely think he was slept on. I would love to see him being fleshed out and how things got started with him. And I'll see in hot takes. You always give your opinion. What hot take do you have for us today?
Ooh, hot take. Damn, I don't want to say nothing too crazy. Hot take is Jiren is a bum. If you are a Jiren fan, I really feel sorry for you. He is one of the worst, and this is what made me mad. Emperor Pilaf was a better antagonist, not villain, a better antagonist than Jiren was. Jiren was a crybaby, wanted to be ore farmer, just sorry, person. I don't see. I feel like it should have been Topo that Goku fought. I know this is.
Yeah,
I feel like it should have been Topo because they already fought each other. It had like a little bit of a history when Goku lost to Topo in that pre-tournament thing they did. So I feel like they had more of a history than Goku and Jiren. Jiren's a bum. I don't fuck with him.
Hey, I like that answer. Do what y'all want in the comments about that one, because that was a good opinion. And before we get out of here, I like to end on a positive note. For anybody who's new to Dragon Ball, I'm going to get into it even from a content standpoint. What's some advice that you could give it that you wish you would have known when you first started?
Honestly, number one, I always say, love Dragon Ball to its core. Don't let anybody deter your opinion on how you feel about it. If you aspire to be a Dragon Ball content creator, just talk about how much you love the series, what's it done for you, make it fun, make it lovey. Even give a hot take or two, it doesn't really matter. And you can always follow me. I love supporting other Dragon Ball content creators. I believe I inspire a lot of other people to kind of be content creators as well. So again, like I want to see more people talk about the series, especially since it's coming back. I would love to see more people talk about it, boast about it, and just love what a character left for this world for us to enjoy.
That was well said. And if anybody want to follow you on your content creation journey or see what other Dragon Ball statues that you have, where can they find you?
I am Black Bulma everywhere. That's BLVCKBULMAA. I am literally everywhere. If you see me talking about Dragon Ball Z, listen, follow and support. I definitely appreciate it.
Guys heard all that. Make sure you go follow her and make sure you watch Dragon Ball with a positive mindset. It's not solo leveling. I'm JG Collects, and like that, he out. Thanks.